So you're a new head coach and you want to take advantage of the opportunity. Here's 5 things I wish I knew when I first became a head coach. So the first thing I would do if I was a new head coach is find places where I can go and get information. Throughout your whole career, you're going to have to continue to learn. That's just going to be a part of you becoming a great coach. So some of the best platforms that I use are things like Championship Productions. Championship Productions is filled with a variety of topics for a lot of sports. You can get so much information and it's on demand. You got presentations from some of the best coaches in the world, and they're presenting all types of topics. So if you haven't visited that site, I suggest that you go and check it out. Second place I would go would be YouTube. With the growth of technology, that's like the best place. It's free. You can go and find a variety of topics. There's so many coaches across the country sharing so many different types of information and ideas. Heck, you're watching one right now on Championship Hoops. The third place I would recommend is get up on your social media. Follow coaches, network with coaches. People are just always sharing countless information and ideas out there. And if you're not on those platforms, you're not going to maximize your potential. Heck, I got a coach, he looks at so many set plays just on Twitter and he sends them to me every single day. So get on those social media outlets. That way you're able to get information, continuing to learn and grow as a coach. All right, this is one of my favorite ones. The second thing is you have to learn how to utilize assistant coaches. I'm telling you right now, coach, you will not get to where you're trying to go without help. 2 minds are better than 1, and 3 minds are better than 2. So the more you utilize your assistant coaches, the faster your team is going to be successful. So what does that look like? Here's the best example I could give you. Phil Jackson. You think of Phil Jackson, you think of the triangle offense. Well, for those of y'all who don't know, Phil Jackson did not create the triangle offense, nor was it his idea to run it. That belongs to Tex Winters. Tex Winters is the one who invented the triangle offense. He showed it to Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson believed in him and let him lead that offense. And that's why he's got all those championship rings, because he utilized one of his assistant coaches. Now, when you have your assistants, you gotta give them responsibility. I know you wanna be in control, but give your assistants responsibility, okay? Here's why. On my staff, I got a guy who runs the defense, I got a guy in charge of skill development, and my team couldn't be in a better place because they buy into those things. My defensive coach loves defense. That's all he's looking at, and he cares about it. So he wants to go out there and put the best thing on the floor, and it's his. So he takes pride in it. My skill development coach, same thing. He's constantly learning ways to get better. He knows he's our guy when it comes to skill development, and he's embraced it. So I'm telling you now, coach, you're going to have to put that ego and pride aside and utilize your assistant coaches and give them responsibility. When you first become a head coach, you're so excited, man. You're ready to put in that new offense, that new defense. And I'm going to tell you this, sometimes that ain't going to work out for you, buddy. You must always focus on the fundamentals, especially when you're working with high school kids or younger. You cannot expect them to run things like you see a college team or an NBA team. They must first master the fundamentals. I can't tell you how much that has led to our success. Just focusing on dribbling, passing, shooting, finishing. We embrace those things in our program. Our middle school teams, that's all they do. They don't even learn an offense. And we'll be out there beating all these teams because we just focus on skill development. If my guys know how to dribble and yours don't, it doesn't matter what offense we run. It's gonna work. So I'm telling you, focus on the fundamentals. It will pay off. And to kind of piggyback on this, and this is one of the most important things I see young coaches make mistakes with. Forget about the plays. I've seen coaches come in with a playbook this thick, And they really think that's gonna work. But their kids don't even know how to play. You need to teach your players how to play the game, how to space the floor, actions. What are rules in your offense? If you pass the ball, do you cut? Do you screen away? You know, what are the rules and the principles of your offense without running a play? What happens if somebody penetrates? Where does everybody move? Teach your kids how to play, not plays. That's going to save you a lot of time. And I promise you, you can get back to those plays, coach. I know we all love to run these plays. But once you teach your team and you got some veterans that know how to play, then go ahead, start installing those plays. We've had a lot of success running our offense. We probably run about 3 or 4 sets, and that's it. That's it, 3 or 4 sets, if that. There's so many times we go in the game, we don't even run one play. My guys just know how to space. They know their actions. They know their rules. It gives them freedom. Back to the point before, we focus on fundamentals, so they're good to go. The next one I have for you is everybody's always so ready to come in there and install the offense and the defense that they want to run. All right, and I understand. It's your show. You're the boss. You're in charge. But you have to run things that fit your team. So I'm going to give you an example. I was at one school for 5 years, and at that school, we ran man-to-man defense, and we were very effective. When I went to my new school, we must have spent 3 months trying to install a man-to-man defense, and our kids could not get it. It didn't matter what we did. They just could not understand it. They couldn't grasp it. We were again scored on. And I finally told myself, hey, put that pride to the side. Let's go out there. Let's try a zone defense. We put in a zone defense. Next thing you know, we won 11 games straight. We won a district title. We went to the playoffs and won our first game. All because I was able to say, hey, this doesn't fit our team. Let's go ahead and try this. Just because you want to run something doesn't mean it's meant for your team. It just may not work out that way. Sometimes you don't have the players. Okay, these last few years, my team, we've been running a 1-2-2 zone. We got a lot of guys that can sprint and run fast. Now I got a 7-footer. That dude can't cover the baseline and the corner 3. So I got to put in a 2-3 zone so I could utilize him. I've never ran a 2-3 zone, but he's 7 foot. I got to put something in for him. That way he can be successful, and it ultimately leads to our team's success. Last thing, here's number 5, but don't sleep on this, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. My first 5 years, I wasn't that good of a coach. I didn't know half the things I know now. But I still won a lot of games, I had one of the best teams I've ever had in my whole coaching career. But you know why we were successful? Because I focused on relationships with my players. When you have strong relationships with your players, it don't matter what offense you run. It doesn't matter what defense you run. Those guys are going to go out there, they're going to give you 100%, and you're going to be successful. Trust me, I lived through it. I look back at those teams that I had. If I would have had the knowledge I had going into year 10 back then, those guys would have been unbeatable. But hey, God had a plan. It taught me a lesson. And I look back on it, the biggest thing I learned was it's important to have good relationships with your players. Know their name. Know what motivates them. But whatever you need to do, all that stuff from back in the day, hey, I'm not your friend, them days are gone. These kids don't operate like that. You got to put in the time to get to know them. You got to have their back. They got to respect you, and you got to respect them. That's something that we pride ourselves on, is you give respect to get respect, and nobody is above anybody. I've been saying that since year 2 of being a head coach, and it's taken me a long way. Kids will dive on the floor. They'll take a charge. They won't miss practices. They'll show up in the summer as long as they know that you care and you put in that time to build a relationship with them. So there you go, man. Those are my 5 things I wish I knew when I first became a head coach. If you're watching this, man, I really hope you take something from it. I appreciate you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Championship Hoops. Let me know in the comments what other type of topics you want me to address. I do have some more ideas that will be coming out, so be looking out for that soon.